Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Quick Strikes. My name is Michael Wax here with my co-hosts Phil Wunderlich and Jake Ricker. Gentlemen, we are Stanley Cup Finals bound. I know we're feeling good.
We are going to the Stanley Cup Finals. I repeat, we are going to the Stanley Cup Finals, baby. Let's go. I am psyched.
Yeah, I think we're all psyched. We're ready to go.
Man, after we lost Game 5, I was pretty down. I'm gonna be honest. I kept on being positive to all my friends and all these people asking me, what's gonna happen next. But I didn't know. And with the Lightning in Game 6, it was more of an emotional roller coaster. And thank God they won. But let's get right into the game. To start off, the Lightning looked completely dominant. I think we can say that in the first period. Unfortunately, they were not the first ones to score. 4 minutes and 15 seconds in, Anders Lee brings it into the zone. Devon Tays goes for a shot off the pads of Vasilevsky, and he holds on to the puck. Vasilevsky bites a little too hard, and then Devon Taves wraps it around for a wraparound goal in 2020, which is very weird to say. For his second goal of the playoffs, Anders Lee and Matt Barzal with the assist. The immortal, the wonderful Matt Barzal with the assist to make it 1-0 Islanders.
Yeah, it sucks because, I mean, like you said, we were dominating in the beginning of the play, and then they were the first ones to score. But at the same time, what can you do with that kind of positioning? So
It's just the way this series has been going, man. They Islanders have, even though despite them getting outplayed, they find a way to get the puck in the back of the net. They've scored first. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but it feels like almost every single time. But the key difference here is how good did the Lightning respond? I talk about this all the time, and we'll get to it in a second, but it's a good play by the Islanders. Tough one there for the Lightning, but again, it's what we're talking about here in a second. It's the resiliency of the Lightning that makes a difference and why we're going to the Stanley Cup Finals and they're not.
Well, not only the resiliency of the Lightning, but the resiliency of Andrei Vasilevsky. We'll give him props right now. I don't know if he's any of your guys positive, but he allowed the first shot of the game into the net, didn't allow another one. He was spectacular. He only had to face 27 shots, but he was great, and he was one of the reasons, especially in OT, that the Lightning didn't have to go to 7 games. But you guys nailed it. Right after the Devon Taves goal, another defenseman gets in the play, this time for the Lightning. Nikita Kucherov gets the puck over to Eric Chernak. Chernak with a pretty good slap shot off the pads of Varlamov. One of the juiciest rebounds you'll see ever, I think. And Victor Hedman was there with nobody covering him in the slot, and he roofs it over Varlamov. It's 9th goal of the postseason, which is tied for the team lead, by the way, to make it a tie game.
Yeah, you talk about being immortal. I think Victor Hedman is the true immortal here. We call him the Swedish God for a reason. He's been really good all playoffs, and he has 9 right now. And lead by a defenseman is 13, with held by Paul Coffey right now. And like we said before the show, I think he can definitely do it.
What is so impressive to me about Victor Hedman is the way he can see these plays develop. This is another case of him noticing the rebound coming out. He jumps it up on the play. We talk about all the time how the Lightning have these defenders that are able to move up on the play and get shots on goal. Michael, you mentioned before the show, NBC talked about how the Lightning have some of the most shots on goal from defensemen. That's not something you normally see from teams. But Hedman is able to see this play develop, knows he can move up on the a huge goal.
Yeah, when we talk about Victor Hedman, we talk about his technicalities. We talk about how calculated he is. And, it was very calculated to be able to find that sweet spot in the Islander defense and go after that rebound. And you say all you want about Varlamov's rebound control and how horrific it was, but I'd give credit to Victor Hedman's smarts more than anything. He's such a fluid skater too. You didn't even know he was there until the puck was in the back of the net. So, credit to Victor Hedman, credit to Eric Chernak for getting the puck on net. That first line was still clicking, as it always does. With that assist, Nikita Kucherov has tied Brad Richards for the most points in a single postseason run in Lightning history. By the way, that was 4 rounds. Nikita
period. Vasilevsky played really well, so did Varlamov. So, 1-1, that's kind of the story of the game.
10 shots on goal for the Lightning in this period, and then 6 shots on goal for the Islanders. They were so good. I think even defensively, normally the Lightning control the play and are good very offensively, but the Lightning kind of flipped the script on the Islanders here and played the Islanders game and played defensively, and they did such a good job of keeping up that pressure. It was unfortunate here. The Lightning were never able to get one in the back of the net. And honestly, this is where I started to get a little worried that this was going to turn another one of those games, but thank God it didn't. But credit to the Bolts here and their defensive play. They did a really good job of keeping the Islanders off their game, not letting them into the zone cleanly. And like you said, Michael, it wasn't until the end of the third period that they were able to get things going here. So huge credit to them. They did a great job, even though they weren't able to get the one in the back of the net. When you control play like that, that's very important. Goals are going to come, but if you can keep that kind of play up and keep it going, that's how you're going to get those goals. So you've got to keep that up, and the Lightning really did a good job of that. And I think that's another key element to their game, and being able to even play a different style if they have to and lock down other teams.
Well, yeah, and you mentioned, how you generate goals. And one of the reasons, or one of the ways you generate goals is to shoot the puck. So in the third period, while there were no goals again, the Lightning, had their struggles, and then were given a golden opportunity when Andy Green had a high stick against Nikita Kucherov, a double minor, just like in Game 5. And to be frank, just like in Game 5, the power play was terrible. They didn't shoot at all. I think out of the 48 shots the Lightning had overall in this game, maybe 4, 5 of them came on the power play. It was just that poor of an effort. And we saw a certain man at the end of the game in the post-game celebrations. I think he's ready to come back, guys. And
Yeah.
he might be able to help with our power play struggles.
Yeah, like you said, the Stamkos did come out to the at the end of the game, but there's something I want to talk about in the second period. That play by Anders Lee was terrible. The one that he hit Anthony Cirelli. The way that he led with his knee and he collided with Cirelli's knee, like Cirelli was ultimately the game-winning goal, and we saw that. But can you imagine if he wasn't able to come back in this game tonight? Like, it could have happened, and that was just a dirty play, and there's no excuse for it.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I don't like the play at all. It obviously sucks Cirelli went down here. I think Lee was trying to get back on side here. The way he took his route, though, and the way he went about this is really weird. I don't get it at all. So, I don't know. Was there an intent there to injure the player? I'd like to think not. Again, I really don't know. But I think the fact that he was trying to get back on sides, I got to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here, and he might have slipped. He might have not. I don't know. And I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible here, but it definitely sucks. You're right, for Cirelli to get hurt on that play, and thank goodness he came back. I think that also plays into it. Obviously since he was able to come back, it doesn't make as much of an impact as it does, but definitely an unfortunate play and something that you hope to not see in these games, especially now into the later games and into the finals too.
So I'm going to agree with both of you, if that's a possibility. In slow-mo, it looked extremely dirty. It looked intentional. He looked like he didn't stop. It looked really bad. And I was like, well, I guess, go get Anders Lee then. But in real time, I don't know. Like, it's tough. It's a toss-up. I think he could have found a way to get away from Cirelli? Yeah, I do. Do I think Cirelli should have had his head up and saw who was coming in his peripheral vision? I do. I think part of it has to do with, the way that Cirelli reacted to it. Very happy that Cirelli was okay, because we'll get to that later. But it's really hard to determine in real time what was going through the head of Anders Lee. He was trying to get back on side. I don't know if he was trying to do anything else. The Islanders, they have ulterior motives.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said earlier, it looks like maybe if you look at it slowly, like you said, it looks dirtier than what it is. But at the same time, like why do you have to slide like that? Like, can't you just get on the? Can't you just get on back on the ice without sliding like that? I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, he might have lost his footing to try to be faker. But listen, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Cirelli is okay. He was back on the ice. He scored the game-winning goal, and the Lightning are the ones moving on to the Stanley Cup Finals. So that's all I know, and honestly, that's all I care about. So, unfortunate. I hope that we don't continue to see those kind of plays. Whatever it was, whether it was he lost his footing, it was intentional. It is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it here now, but the Lightning are moving on. That's all I really care about.
Jake, you played spoiler. We haven't gotten to that part yet.
I think they figured that out by the beginning.
I don't think it matters, guys. As we went into the overtime, even though the Lightning weren't able to capitalize on that 4-minute power play, Andre Palat was inches away from giving us a berth into the Stanley Cup Finals. And honestly, right after that didn't go in and they showed the replay, it's like, it's over. We didn't score in the 4 minutes. Islanders are going to score off a fluky thing just like they did in Game 5. Guess I'll see y'all for Game 7. And no, the Lightning were able to push back, even though the Islanders did get their chances in overtime. They ended up actually tying in shots at 6 apiece. But that third line went to work. And you saw it in a weird way where Alex Killorn was on the ice at the same time as Barclay Goodrow, Anthony Cirelli, and Blake Coleman. I don't know how that happened, but Killorn got it over to Goodrow. Goodrow behind the net gets it over to Cirelli. Puck's not really in, but at the same time, it doesn't matter because the ref said it was in. And guys, we're going to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how it goes in as long as it goes in. And if you see at the end, the way that Varlamov's pads, he scored on himself. If you look at the replay, he kicks it backwards, and that's why the goal is called. So it's a fluky goal, but like you said, we're going to Stanley Cup Finals, so I really don't care how it goes in.
Fluky goals is how you win games like these. So I'll take it, man. I didn't even know it was in for the time being. Doc even kind of froze up there because I think he's watching from the TV as well. Technically, he's not actually there, but I wasn't sure. And then I saw the celebration go off and the ref making the goal call. So a huge sigh of relief for me and a victory preach as well in there as well. But great job by this line. Great job by Anthony Cirelli about being in the right place at the right time. We talk about this all the time. The Lightning have a lot of players, Cirelli, Johnson, Gord, who do such a good job at putting themselves in front of the net in that place where they can grab rebounds or shots on net. They can deflect pucks, whatever it may be. They did that again here today. And that's how they get this ultimate game-winning goal that sends them to the Stanley Cup Finals. They do such a good job at that. And that's ultimately what won this game. So huge shout out to Anthony Cirelli. He struggled a lot throughout these playoffs, but he came through when it mattered, and that's the most important thing. So, great job by the Lightning. It's really exciting to be back in the finals since 2015. So I cannot wait for this to get underway and get going. Very, very exciting.
I'm not going to say I called, but if you look at the Bayballs Twitter account from this morning, you'll see a retweet from me that says if Braden Point is out, Anthony Cirelli's going to have to step up. And Braden Point was not out, but Anthony Cirelli stepped up. So I just got to say, hats off to Semyon Varlamov, who stole Game 5 and almost stole Game 6. He was unbelievable in net, stopping 46 of 48 shots. Vasi, a rock, as always. Gentlemen, your positives and negatives. I will start with Phil.
My positive is going to be Victor Hedman. We talked about it earlier. I've mentioned his name several times throughout these playoffs, but there's so much reason to. I mean, he's playing so well, and the way that I've mentioned before, it's going to be either him or Vazzy to get the Conn Smythe if the Lightning do end up winning this game. I mean, the series, because the way that they've been playing, it's incredible. My negative though is going to be the power play. We mentioned it already that you have a 4-minute penalty against you for not only this game but for the last game too, and you can't capitalize on it. There's no excuse for it. It's just terrible, and we have to start getting back to our fundamentals, and we have to start scoring on the power play. Jake.
Yeah, listen, the power play is a huge problem. But for my positive, I'm going with the man himself, Anthony Cirelli. He's the one that got the game-winning goal, and I can't give anyone else but Cirelli. He's the one that put it home at the end of the day, and I credit to him, because it's hard sometimes to break out of slumps. We saw it with a guy like Yanni Gourde, how long it took him in the regular season to break out of his slump, and Cirelli was able to do it in a huge moment there, never gave up, and kept fighting. Like I said before, on his goal, he put himself in the right place at the right time. So a huge credit to him there. Now, Phil kind of stole my negative with the Lightning power play. And to be honest with you, I don't know what else there is to complain about. That was my major complaint from this game, was the power play. That's something you've got to fix. Now, at the end of the day, while Stamkos definitely looked like he had the playoff beard ready to go and he was ready to go back on the ice, that smile on his face was awesome. But you've got to fix that. You've got to fix that, because it can cost you games. It cost the Lightning in Game 5. Ultimately, it almost cost them here in Game 6. Something's got to be figured out. I hope Stamkos is back on the ice and he's the ultimate one that ends it. It seems like they have the zone time here, but they just can't get the shots on goal. They can't generate those chances like they normally are. Now, that could be credit to the Islanders too, who have done a good job at killing off the power play as well, because the Lightning power play did start to pick up in that Boston series and then kind of shut down here against the Islanders. So that's the one thing I got to complain about. I hate picking the same thing as Phil, but that's the one issue I saw from this game. Other than that, the Lightning played a really good game. They dominated most of the game besides the third period.
Yeah, absolutely. For my positive, I'm going to go a little off Bucks here, and I believe you mentioned him as your positive last game, Jake. I'm going with Eric Chernak. He was a warrior tonight. He was so good at getting pucks on net and then keeping the puck away from Vasilevsky, which is the two main jobs that Chernak is supposed to do. So he was absolutely fantastic. I'm so happy that he has found his footing after a rough couple of games in the round robin and round one, and especially the first game of round two. He looks so much better than he did at the beginning of the restarted play. For my negative, I'm not going with the power play. I'm going with that too many men on the ice call in overtime, which is unacceptable. If you are John Cooper, you should be ashamed of yourself. There is no reason that the Lightning should have a too many men on the ice call at all. Definitely not in overtime. And I'm slightly surprised that the refs called it, because they missed out 7 people on the ice for the Islanders in the first period. But those mistakes are inexcusable. They could cost you a series, or they could cost you a game against a team with a better power play. So, not to dwell on the past, because it is the past at this point. And the Lightning are moving on in the Stanley Cup Finals, but that mistake is going to cost you.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit too harsh on John Cooper here. I don't think it's only his fault that it happened, because if players are slow to get on the ice and off the ice, that's being lazy. That's not necessarily Cooper's fault. Then not only that, but like you said, we can't dwell on the past too much. But at least John Cooper is the guy that's leading us to the Stanley Cup Final. So.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's not all Cooper's fault, but you look at Cooper after the penalty was called, his face was like, what did I just do? He very clearly had intentions of keeping the play driving forward, but also he wanted a different line out there to change things up. I don't know what happened. I don't. And, maybe I am a little too harsh on Cooper. We just released our Cooper video. But at the end of the day, again, doesn't matter.
Yeah, Phil, you're right. Cooper is the one that led us to the Stanley Cup Finals. I love John Cooper, but we're also diehard fans, so that's what we're going to do is be critical of him. And what Cooper needs to do here, I think, is just make sure those guys know that you can't be doing that when it comes here to the Stanley Cup Finals. So, but at the end of the day, these guys have done such a good job. That's something they need to work on and look out for, but they were able to finish it off. So credit to them at doing what they needed to do. So,
yep, a 2-1 victory in Game 6. Jake and I were absolutely elated after that puck went in. Phil, I was watching Baybolts on Twitter. You were super elated after that puck went in. It was so nice, and I think that the journey that we've taken from 2019 to 2020 with this team has been a bumpy one, but it's been one that is 4 wins away from pulling us from the worst moments of our lives as Tampa fans to the best moments of our lives as Tampa fans. So, guys, we will see you for Game 1 of the 2020 Stanley Cup Finals on Saturday, the 19th. John Cooper and the Tampa Bay Lightning going head-to-head with their old friend Rick Bowness and the Dallas Stars. Let's see if Ben Bishop is available to play. Gentlemen, anything else before we wrap up this video?
I just wanted to give a special thanks to everybody that's been watching our videos real quick. I appreciate everyone watching them.
Also, be sure to be on the lookout for our Stanley Cup Finals series preview video. I know you guys love those videos. They've always done really well. So be on the lookout for that, hopefully Saturday morning.
Sounds like a plan. Once again, for Michael Wax, Jake Ricker, and Philip Wunderlich, thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't be afraid to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, be sure to follow us at Bay_Bolts on Twitter for news, notes, and game coverage every single game, whether it's myself, Jake, or today's Philip Wunderlich. So just make sure to follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, Twitter. It is so much fun to do this stuff, and with the Stanley Cup Finals, we can only imagine how much more fun it's going to get, and how much more stressful it's going to get. But once again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on Saturday for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Take care, guys.